Last minute winner and fully deserved. Welcome back to Where Addicts Walk with myself, Luke. Alongside me today, we have got Alan, Steve, Timsy, and Dave. Alan, what a way to win the game.
Yeah, going. If there's anyone that's going to spoil a party, it's Nathan Jones, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Horrible game was obviously because of the weather up and down the country. I think everyone, you can saw the Ipswich game, obviously. And it wasn't the best of pitches, obviously. But our tactics were spot on, second half subs. I think everyone was screaming, same as me, about how we were on yellow cards and last week with Ramsey, and you got to get Gillespie on, and you got to get Actor on, and Fabry, and then it's Bree that puts a lovely little ball into Tanto, and 1-0. Brilliant. Away we go.
Yeah, definitely. Steve,
Limbs in the back, in the away end.
Yeah. I bet the away end was went mad. Steve, what do you think to the second half? Do you think that was the change in the game?
Yeah, I think so. I think we. To be fair, I think overall we looked the better of the two teams throughout the 90. But the second half particularly, we started to really come into our own, and we were making chance after chance at points. But we just, again, as we found in the early stages of the season, it's been putting the ball in the back of the net's been that tricky point. But yeah, 91st minute winner or whatever it was. That's the perfect way to finish off, and especially just to ruin Chris Wilder's day up there and his return. So a little bit extra special, but it was what a way to win it, and it's so good for Tanto. He's been crying out for some appearances, and he's just coming on and scoring that winner. It should do him the world of good going forward.
Yeah, definitely. We'll touch on Tanto a bit later on. Timsy, what do you think to the character to keep going, and to get that winner right at the end? It takes character.
Yeah, it's something we've seen definitely under Jones since he's came in. I think we're probably near the top, if not the top for scoring, probably 80 plus. It's just he always breeds a very fit squad, and with bringing on the subs, we always try and push for that winner. Doesn't always happen, unlike some games, but yeah, it all worked out as planned. And I have to say, he probably got his tactics pretty spot on, because I was shouting for completely different substitutions, to be honest. But no, he pretty got it spot on, and yeah, we've got the result we needed.
At the time, Timsy, who would you brought on? Who was you thinking?
I was really worried about Amari Bell being on the yellow. So cautiously in my head, I was Gillespie come on. So I'm sure at that box, let's just not lose the game. And then I wanted Tanto to come on, but he hasn't really been coming on too much. So I thought we would probably go a different way. I thought Rob Dapter was going to come on for Bree, to be honest, to try and give us that attacking threat on the opposite side. They've been so used to the attack coming the TC side that I thought they switch the attacking side. But no, he got it spot on. So fair play to NJ. That's why he gets paid the big bucks.
Yeah, that definitely does. What about you, Dave? Was you so happy with coming away with 3 points?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think to be fair, I think the game in both halves, we sort of grew into the game towards the end of each half, and I think the substitutes were great. The last 10 minutes, even Wilder admitted, they were clueless. And Nibs, the pressing from Nibs as soon as he came on, Leeburn, and then the composure of Bree just shows you why we got him in last minute. For that assist was just on the plate for Tanto, which we're all really happy about. Tanto scoring. I think the biggest highlight for me was Nathan Jones's knee slide.
Yeah.
Luckily the grass wasn't too long. Like Robbins was complaining about the game at QPR. It was long enough that he could have a good knee slide. So that added to the celebration. Sweet.
Yeah, I did see that about the Coventry boss having a little moan up about the long grass. Managers will come up with all sorts, won't they? Right, I think another thing to talk about on the character of the team, because winning away from home takes character. Winning in the last minute of the game takes character, but also going to a team that's just had their old manager brought back in. You're expecting that new manager bounce, and I think Charlton dealt with it well, don't you think, Alan?
Very well. The end of last week, coming off the back of our Millwall result and them getting there, hiding from Ipswich, we're all thinking lovely. That's all right. We'll go to Sheffield United, get the 3 points. And then obviously the news come out about Sellers getting the sack and Wilder coming in. You're thinking, cool, lucky we'll just take 0-0 and get out of there and things, just be really ugly and just pray that we have a good day. But yeah, I think like both teams, I mean, we started very quick, first 20 minutes especially. They sort of grew into the game and they had the ball with Hamer and Peck was being a nuisance and O'Hare, but they didn't really actually trouble us at all. And as I said about the substitutions, they made subs as well when you're thinking, oh, he's coming on, he's pretty good, etc. But they've run out of ideas, which is from their point of view probably be a bit worrying. And I think they was expecting a lot more. The crowd were very quiet, considering it as well to return, etc. And I think I think Wilder's going to be a bit harder. I think it's going to be a lot harder than they anticipated anyway. Sort it out their fortunes because they're a bit low in confidence as well. When, as I said, their heads sort of dropped, and even when we got the goal, their heads really dropped. It was sort of more like Sellers' team.
Yeah. I think it's there. Yeah, I think it's difficult. I think, especially in the Championship, as we said before, it's that what you've done last season means nothing. It means absolutely nothing, and the fact that they got were so close to promotion means nothing this season. I think I saw a stat where if they lost as they did to the Addicts, if they lost that game, they join two teams that are. If you've lost your first 5 games in the season, you're down, and they've obviously lost their first 5 games. So 2 teams previously who have done that have gone down. So yeah, we'll see. But let's focus obviously on us. So what I'd like to do now is, so we talk about the game. The game was great. I'd like to look at the season because the first chunk of the season's been brilliant. I think it's been better than probably most Charlton fans would have hoped for, if I'm right in saying. So what I wanted to discuss is your favourite player from the season so far. So who's impressed you? Who's looked good? Is it someone you've had? Is it a new signing? Is it someone you've had before, etc.? So Steve, we'll start with you, mate. Who's impressed you in a Charlton shirt so far this season?
I think so far this season, from the new lads particularly, Apter and Carey have looked really good in the games they've played. Obviously, Apter didn't play at the weekend against Sheffield United, but so far I think he's looked very handy and he's caused a real attacking threat, more so than I was expecting, because I'll be honest, I didn't know a huge amount about him when he came, but he's looked really handy. But the one that really I like a lot, and he goes under the radar, is Josh Edwards. People don't speak much about him, but he is just tenacious every game. He goes about his business. He gets stuck in. He's going through people. He's a no-nonsense, old-school defender who can just dish it out as well as he can take it. So Josh Edwards for me is a bit of a shining star that goes without much plaudits.
Yeah, I like it. What about you, Dave? Who's impressed you so far?
Interestingly, obviously Carey and Apter, they obviously got a lot of talent, and they've got a good connection. But a player that I was a little bit concerned about at the start of the season when I saw him pre-season and thought, is he going to be able to really perform at this level, was Doherty. And you know what? He's really, really surprised me. In the last couple of games that he's been in, he's just worked so industriously, and he seems to get in a few more attacking positions. Before we scored, there was a header that he had a really good chance to, but he's not always in that position. So, you could probably see him grow, but he's definitely stepped up. And that's always good, especially when you've come up through the playoffs.
Yeah. So
Doherty for me.
Yeah, that's a very good shout. What about you, Timsy?
It has to be Amari Bell. I think he's so calm at the back, and even when he's got the ball and you think, he's going to get caught here, he just does something which looks like just class and Rolls Royce. He'll turn or he'll run past them. He'll just do something. It just calms the nerves when he's got it. And his left peg ain't too bad either. I wouldn't say it's Naby Saleh peg, but he can pin it a nice diagonal with it as well. So I really have enjoyed how he settled straight into that left-sided centre back position, considering how much of a hero status Gillespie had, with the way he performed last season and at Wembley as well. For him to come in and perform the way he has, and he's a class.
Yeah. I know obviously Luton struggled last year, but Amario had a good experience in the Prem, didn't he? A couple of seasons ago as well. So he's definitely got the quality. Alan, what about you, mate? Who would you go for? Who's impressed you so far this season?
Yeah, like Steve, Josh Edwards. He's probably knocking on the door for Scotland cap as well. There's only one game this season. It's up against Leicester, where he's the first player. I can't remember his name, but he's the right winger that cut in and got the goal. But he's the first one who has really given Josh Edwards a game, and it's like he's come away and thought, "Oh, he's pretty good." But no, he hasn't looked at a place in the Championship, and like Steve picked up on, we've got him from second division Scotland. No one heard of him, and thinking, "Who's this guy?" And ever since he's come in, he's back to water. He's been mustard.
Yeah, that's important. It's hard, isn't it, when you make these signings from divisions like lower quality. It's hard to see, but that's what the scouting network's there for, and that's how they earn their money. Right, I think that's some good shouts there, boys. Right, let's move on to tweet of the week, and it comes from one of our own. It comes from Chris Platty himself. He's not here today, but he will be here next week. So the tweet is Tanto or TC to start. Right, Steve, we'll start with you. Are you Team Tanto or Team TC?
So I'm Team Tanto. I've been singing his praise a little in the previous weeks, but for me, he's coming on and he's looking the business when he's coming on. He's getting stuck in. And he obviously got the winner against Sheffield United, which is fantastic. He's just a big problem maker in the box, and I don't think we get that from TC. I'm not a fan of the TC Kelman mix as a strike partnership. I think it's too lightweight. I think you need someone like Tanto to add a bit of muscle and a bit of strength up there. He's got the numbers from last season, which he's when he was at Stockport. For me, TC, great when the ball's at his feet, fantastic Premier League quality when the ball's at his feet. Sometimes National League deliveries though. He's his end product, and if we're looking for a striker who's going to get goals, he's played 130 games and he's got like 15 goals. It's not the answer. Tanto's the man for me.
I think that's quoting the show, isn't it? National League delivery. Alan, what about you, mate? I think you're a fan of TC.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say TC got to start over Tanto or Leeburn. What TC, and we spoke about after the Leicester game because he was getting a bit of stick, but you've got to remember it was 11 players versus 11 players, and you're going to get your individual battles, and that against that day in League One, you're going to beat most of your team because he's talent. But you come up against Chowdhury, who played in the Premier League, and he was a lot better. It's just one of those days. Another QPR game. He's been pretty good for me. What I was going to say was, it's all about the formation. Steve's mentioned, obviously, he plays up front. It was 3-5-2 a lot of last year, and it wasn't until Small come to right wing back, it was really a 4-2-3-1. And this year we're finding out we're not going to be the favourites to go and win games. A lot of yesterday and a lot of what we played so far this season is like a 4-1-4-1, with Coventry sitting just in front of the back four. And TC's more or less a left winger. And the balls yesterday was mainly just getting, and I felt sorry for him, poor bloke, Kelman. Oh, God, he's played 60 minutes just having the ball kicked up to him and feeding off, obviously, people coming into play and feeding off scraps. But TC does something. Whether Tanto can play sort of like left wing midfield, I'm not too sure. And if we do start playing like a Tanto or a Leeburn with Kelman and Godden when he's fit, we are looking more like two up front as opposed to this 4-1-4-1. And can Tanto drop a shoulder and beat someone like TC? I mean, you commented on it, Luke, before, where you said it's interesting from a non-Charlton fan's point of view. The first person you said is Campbell. He's pretty good, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, we don't really see that from outside. We just see it week in, week out. So I'm more at the moment. He hasn't really done anything. We're still getting draws and wins. Give it another couple of games and see if it's could pick up an assist or a goal and change it again. But at the moment, not for me. No, it was TC.
I think that's actually a really good point, Alan. It's not just about the formation that you set up with to start the game, because throughout the game it has to
Changes.
Yeah, it has to change. It has to, because it has to depend what phase of the game you're in. And I guess starting with a TC allows you with that little bit more of adaptation to go into that 4 or to be as a 2 up top. And with Tanto, obviously he offers something different, doesn't he? So he's not gonna be on that wing. What about you, Timsy? I know you are a fan of Tanto. What do you think?
I like Tanto because I like the way he gets into the box, where TC he stays in that winger sort of position, and Tanto gets the ball. What I would really like to see is to see him both on the pitch, in some form.
Who would you drop? Who would you drop?
You know what? I'd give him a run on the loan up front, like the way Kelman plays. See how he does. See if we can keep the ball on the floor low. Lumping it long to him ain't going to work, but it isn't working with Kelman either. What concerns me in losing TC at the side is the balance of the team, because he does a lot of work tracking back and the press from the halfway line from that position. I feel Tanto may not offer as much cover on the back foot, which may concern me. I think it becomes situational to who we're playing. At the time, and if we're playing from home, maybe Tanto may be an option. If we're playing at home, we're being on the front foot, and if we're playing more of a defensive, and then we counter in having TC in the side. But Tanto is doing no harm in trying to push for a start, especially with that goal, and his positioning was spot on. When he came on, he changed the game. Like all the subs yesterday, they all changed the game. So I think we're getting to the point of the season now where some of the people who have been on the bench have got their fitness, they're getting their sharpness, and that's when they're going to start making the mark. I think Nib's header to Bree for that goal, for that assist, was absolutely sublime. And the touch Bree made, he just took the defender out the game. So you've got the likes of Bree now making a mark, trying to get into the starting. You got Nibs with just that little cameo trying to make it in. So that we may see gradually over the next few games just the odd little change in here just to be tactical.
Yeah, that's a very fair point. And like you said, squad depth is very important. So to have people challenging for the starting 11 is brilliant. And it's not really substitutes anymore, is it? It's finishers. It's all about having that impact. So that's why I'm going to change the question slightly for you, Dave, for the last question of the show. Who is the better impact finisher, substitution, however you like to word it, Tanto or TC? If you're losing 1-0, 20 minutes to play, who would you rather see come off the bench, TC or Tanto?
Well, Tanto, he scores more goals. You look back at his career. He's an impact player physically as well. There's sort of not much comparison. Can't really compare him with TC. They're two types of different players, I see. I think when TC has scored, it's because he's beaten a player in League One and dropped a shoulder and had time on the ball. You don't get that in the Championship, and I think you got to make your own time and make the space. And Tanto's done that. Even Chandler Stockport said that he plays best when he plays in off the left. That's when you see Tanto playing to his strengths. So I'm Team Tanto. Let's give him a go. What have we got to lose? It's not as if we're downgrading in quality of player.
Yeah, well, there you go, Paddy. Tanto's got a lot of shouts, but I think what position to be in that we're having a debate on two players with quality that we want to see. It's not like we're going, oh, he's crap, he's rubbish. Is there anybody? And do you know what a great position to be in at this stage of the season, to go, oh, we actually want to see these players because they're performing well and they're performing when they're on the pitch. So yeah, thank you very much, boys. Another 3 points. Thank you everybody for watching and listening, and please like and subscribe, and please comment below for your favourite player so far this season who has impressed you.